Getting ready for the sounds of summer. Trillions of cicadas are set to emerge for the first time since 2008.
Michigan, a land defined by its crystalline lakes, ancient forests, and endlessly shifting sands. For generations, the Great Lakes state has captivated explorers, scientists, and the countless lives shaped by its winding rivers and freshwater shores. But beneath these familiar landscapes lies a tapestry of secrets waiting to be revealed, a world where past and present converge, and where each new scientific discovery pulls back the curtain on the extraordinary. The year is 2025, and something is stirring in Michigan, unlike anything seen in recent memory. From sudden underground tremors to the ear-splitting chorus of billions of rare insects, mysterious events have converged in a way that's left scientists both astounded and uneasy. The emergence of Brood 14, the elusive 17-year cycle of periodical cicadas, has captured nationwide attention with its sheer magnitude, while a deeper enigma looms quietly below ground. The discovery of a massive subterranean lake, undetected for millennia, is shaking our understanding of the Midwest's geology. Nature here is never still. Each isolated discovery raises questions about the interconnectedness of Michigan's environment, its people, its wild places, and the forces that have shaped this region for thousands of years. What origin lurks behind the toxic metals now found in emerging cicada populations? Are the newly awakened fault lines beneath our feet the harbingers of a new geological era for the Midwest? And, perhaps most tantalizing of all, what lies hidden beneath the rolling farmlands and thick forests? A cache of secrets just waiting to rewrite everything we thought we knew about the heart of America. As we embark on this journey, get ready to uncover the scientific breakthroughs from Michigan in 2025. Discoveries so profound, they may change the way you see the Great Lakes state forever. Could this be the year that Michigan's most astonishing mysteries finally come to light? The Awakening, Brood 14, and the Summer of Sound. To understand the excitement and scientific concern sweeping through Michigan in 2025, you have to start with an event that's as ancient as the forests themselves. The mass emergence of Brood 14, the fabled 17-year cicadas. These insects are legends in the biology world, spending over a decade and a half underground before erupting in overwhelming numbers, loud enough to drown out city noise and capable of transforming landscapes seemingly overnight. In late April, as the snow receded and the first hints of green returned to Michigan's woods, the earth literally began to move. Soil along the banks of the lower peninsula's great rivers quivered. Lawns in suburban neighborhoods became pocked with neat, dime-sized holes. And then, as dusk fell, the sound, a pulsing, dizzying wall of buzzing and chirruping, rose up, impossible to ignore. For local residents, the Brood 14 emergence was a spectacle. Families flocked to state parks and woodlands, eager to document the cicada's remarkable life cycle. The air buzzed with more than just insects. There was an undercurrent of excitement and a sense of participating in something exceptional, a moment that connects people to the deep rhythms of the natural world. Red-eyed cicadas, with translucent wings, clung to every tree branch, fence post, and window screen, billions strong. But it wasn't just the sheer numbers that drew crowds, and scientists. This year, entomologists from across the country converged on Michigan, alert to the possibility that something unusual was unfolding. Early reports indicated an unprecedented density of emerging cicadas around lake shores and wooded city parks, outpacing any recorded emergence in living memory. Experts in the field found broods surfacing in areas thought dormant, with swarms so thick they coated playgrounds and car windshields alike. The scale of the phenomenon left scientists scrambling to deploy testing and observation stations across a wider area, hoping to capture the full sweep of Brood 14's return. Cicada tracking apps overloaded as real-time crowdsourcing allowed communities to record the exact moments the insect's emergence began in their neighborhoods. School groups made logbooks of cicada molts, and citizen scientists sent in thousands of samples for DNA testing. For those watching closely, it wasn't just about the spectacle. As Joe Rogan once mused, events like this remind us how nature operates on its own timeline, utterly indifferent to our plans or predictions. This year, that sentiment seemed especially true. Scientists gathered data, tracking the synchronized rise of Brood 14 across not only Michigan, but much of the central United States. The phenomenon is more than a momentary flood of insects. Each cicada emergence acts as a biological time capsule. Soil chemistry, water quality, climate changes, and even pollution levels going back nearly 2 decades are often reflected in the biology of these insects. In this way, the arrival of Brood 14 in 2025 was more than a spectacle. It was a window into the environmental story of Michigan. But as researchers probed deeper into the biology of these insects, another surprise began to surface, one that would trigger a wave of investigation and put Michigan's ecological future squarely in the national spotlight. A toxic revelation, Mercury in the cicadas. Following the emergence of Brood 14, research teams started collecting cicadas from all corners of Michigan, from the North's dense forests to the lush wetlands of the South. Biologists at the state's leading universities got to work, driven by an unsettling lead. Initial data hinted that these iconic insects were carrying something more than the story of their underground slumber. In the biology labs of Ann Arbor and Lansing, scientists testing the newly surfaced cicadas detected heightened levels of mercury, a potent neurotoxin embedded deep inside the insect's tissues. These were not one-off readings. Cicadas from multiple regions, separated by hundreds of miles, all showed abnormally high mercury concentrations, levels not previously recorded in periodical cicadas from this part of the Midwest. The implications were significant. Cicadas, with their long developmental cycles and their habit of drawing nutrients from tree roots over many years, are perfect bioindicators. Any contaminant in the soil, any chemical that has seeped into the trees and groundwater, accumulates silently inside their bodies, only to be revealed almost 2 decades later, on the day they finally climb above ground. Reflecting on findings like these, Joe Rogan once said, "Sometimes nature is a mirror. It shows us exactly what's happening, but only if we know where to look." In 2025, Michigan's cicadas became that mirror. But what exactly was it reflecting back at us? The source of the mercury became a subject of serious debate. Was this the lingering echo of old industrial pollution, still present from Michigan's days as a manufacturing powerhouse? Or was something more recent, a sign that modern agricultural runoff, coal plant emissions, or other man-made sources had quietly infiltrated the state's interconnected ecosystems? For researchers, the stakes couldn't be higher. Mercury doesn't respect boundaries. It moves from soil to insects, birds, fish, and eventually, people. The mystery only deepened as tests began on wildlife known to feed on cicadas during their brief emergence. Songbirds, squirrels, even fish that gorge on the insects during local feeding frenzies. News of the findings traveled quickly. Ecologists from as far as the upper Midwest and Ontario raised alarms. These weren't isolated readings, but a potential warning sign for the entire region. Could the mercury readings in these ancient insects signal a widespread contamination of Michigan's forest ecosystems? Would the Great Lakes themselves, the very lifeblood of the state, soon reveal similar or even more concerning trends? As teams called for increased federal funding and urgent further studies, it became clear Michigan's cicadas weren't just heralding the coming of summer. They were sending a critical message about the land, the water, and the unforeseen consequences of human activity, a message impossible to ignore and still not fully understood. In response, Meetings sprang up between university scientists and state environment officials, with environmental advocacy organizations hosting urgent town halls. Concerned parents demanded further testing of nearby soil, while local news outlets pressed for accountability from suspected sources of contamination. Laboratory scientists worked overtime, setting up protocols to trace the mercury's chemical signatures. Even amateur mycologists and foragers joined in, curious whether wild mushrooms and plants were also accumulating rising toxins. The whole of Michigan, it seemed, was watching the cicadas not just as a natural wonder, but as signals of the state's hidden environmental health. Shaking the Heartland, the Reawakened fault lines. As the drama of Brood XIV played out above ground, a quieter but equally significant transformation was unfolding deep beneath the surface. In 2025, a team of geologists published seismic data that would challenge long-held assumptions about the geology of the American Midwest. Michigan, for all its lakes and rolling farmland, has long been considered a haven of geological stability, a world away from the rifting, trembling zones of the Pacific Northwest or California. The last significant seismic events in the region are almost forgotten, but nature, as it so often does, proved there are still secrets lying just out of view. The key moment came in early spring, shortly before the main cicada emergence. Using deep penetrating ground radar and seismic sensors, researchers at the University of Michigan and Michigan State picked up a series of low-frequency tremors. These weren't the random, muted groans of old bedrock. These were patterned, rhythmic quakes, hinting at something stirring at depths never before thoroughly probed in the state. Within weeks, confirmation came. A network of fault lines, some believed dormant since glacial times, had reawakened. Most notably, several of these faults cut through populated areas: Detroit's outskirts, the industrial corridors near Flint, farmland south of Lake Huron, places previously believed to be geologically inert. Initial surveys pointed to possible links between the new seismic activity and changes in subterranean water flow, prompting old questions about the interconnectedness of Michigan's inland lakes, rivers, and deep aquifers. For residents and scientists alike, the revelation was astonishing. Could the same forces responsible for shaping Michigan's storied landscapes, its hills, its cliffs and valleys, still be active today, quietly rearranging the earth beneath our feet? There's nothing more unsettling than realizing the ground you stand on might not be as solid as you think. As Joe Rogan once noted, by summer 2025, that feeling resonated not just in California, but in the American heartland. These discoveries prompted a re-evaluation of Michigan's risk for earthquakes, bringing fresh calls for investment in geoscience. Scientists raced to map out this newly active underground world, not just for academic interest, but to better understand the risks to communities and infrastructure. University geology departments collaborated with private surveyors, and local governments launched public awareness campaigns about earthquake safety. Homeowners received guides on earthquake preparedness, unfamiliar ground for most Michiganders. Insurance agencies reviewed policies as questions arose about risk assessment. Meanwhile, Native American tribal leaders reflected on traditional stories of the Earth's restlessness, connecting past and present knowledge. As their instruments dug deeper, researchers stumbled on a finding that would eclipse what came before, a revelation with the potential to change our understanding of Michigan's geological history. The buried lake, a hidden ocean below. In a year of extraordinary discoveries, perhaps none stunned the scientific community more than the announcement made after midsummer: the detection of a massive, previously unknown underground lake, an inland sea beneath Michigan's countryside. Using deep penetrating ground radar and seismic imaging, scientists found the hidden lake's extent exceeded early expectations. Maps suggested it stretched under southern Michigan, reaching from the outskirts of Detroit nearly to the Indiana state line. Concealed for thousands of years beneath layers of clay, sand, and ancient glacial till, This subterranean lake had eluded detection by surface-level exploration. What does this mean for Michigan and the broader Great Lakes Basin? The implications sparked a new wave of excitement and concern. Initial sediment core samples, extracted by teams working through long summer nights, revealed a rich geological archive, layers of pollen grains and fossilized remains intermixed with minerals from different eras. Each stratum told a story, chronicling everything from great ice age floods to drought periods, painting a living picture of Michigan as it evolved through the millennia. But it wasn't just an opportunity for scientific study. The discovery of this hidden aquifer raised urgent questions. Could it provide a vital buffer against future water shortages, or was it under threat from modern agricultural and industrial pollution? Was this lake a relic of a vanished climate, or did its existence mean Michigan's geology was more dynamic than previously thought? Joe Rogan, upon hearing stories about hidden lakes in America, once said, "It's like finding a secret world beneath us, a whole new level of reality that we never imagined." In Michigan, this was becoming reality. The buried lake also sparked new debates about how water has shaped the state. Some geologists speculated the newly active faults could be linked to long-lost meltwater channels carved by ancient glaciers. Others wondered if similar hidden aquifers awaited discovery elsewhere in the region. For now, teams are actively sampling, mapping, and striving to understand this geological marvel. The hope is that what they learn could secure the future of the Great Lakes region and offer insights into the deep processes that shaped Michigan as the lake state. As news spread, local farmers discussed implications for irrigation, and city planners considered possibilities for future municipal water security. Social media buzzed with theories and curiosity. School children made models of the aquifer for science fairs, and Michigan's maritime museums explored new exhibits around the discovery. The cry for conservation, scientists raised the alarm. As each chapter of discovery unfolded in 2025, it quickly became clear that Michigan's natural wonders were inseparable from the state's most urgent environmental challenges. The news sent ripples beyond Michigan. Scientists from the upper Midwest and Ontario issued warnings about the need for federal investment and coordinated science to secure the Great Lakes' future. Researchers pointed to the mercury-laced cicadas as a biological signal, flashing red after 17 years of silence. They linked the findings with broader concerns: runoff from farms carrying chemicals down ancient river channels, aging industrial sites leaching toxins into waterways, and emerging pollutants whose effects are still not fully known. In 2025, that choice felt more pressing than ever. Michigan's discoveries were not just local stories, but examples of global challenges wherever people and the environment intersect. Environmental alliances organized to monitor the health of surface and underground waters, rallying volunteers for regular water sampling. Legislators debated environmental reporting rules, while indigenous leaders led ceremonies of healing for the land and water. Local artists painted vibrant murals celebrating the bond between earth, insect, and water, reminders of what's at stake. Yet the outcome of these efforts remains uncertain. Will Michigan rise to the occasion, securing the science and stewardship necessary to protect its most astonishing mysteries? Or will these revelations stand as warnings, reminders of opportunities missed? A state of endless mystery. As Michigan's summer deepens into fall, the air carries a new sense of possibility and caution. The cicadas, living clocks marking the passage of decades, have fallen silent, their shells fading as a reminder of transient abundance. Beneath the surface, the fault lines and hidden lake remain, their stories unfolding, their secrets still only partially revealed. In a single year, Michigan reminded us all that wonder and warning can arrive hand in hand. The Brood 14 cicadas, emerging in numbers not seen for a generation, delivered a powerfully biological message alongside their chorus. The discovery of mercury in their bodies set human choices in sharp relief, linking Michigan's industrial heritage with an urgent environmental future. The buried underground lake stands both as a testament to resilience and as a challenge to our imagination. For all our knowledge, the deep world beneath our feet is still being mapped, waiting for the next discovery to reveal what lies just beyond sight. And the shifting ground, the newly detected fault lines, they remind us that nothing here is truly fixed. Least of all, our assumptions about safety, certainty, and the possible. There's no end to the mysteries of nature. The more you look, the more you realize how much is still hidden, said Joe Rogan. In Michigan, 2025 made that lesson clear. Each new secret is an invitation, a call to ask better questions, pay closer attention, and protect the unfolding story of the Great Lakes State for generations still to come. What do you think of these revelations? Could Michigan hold still more secrets waiting to surface? Could its unseen past hold keys to our shared future? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this journey into Michigan's mysteries, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more remarkable discoveries from around the world. Remember, sometimes the most incredible revelations are the ones closest to home. Stay curious, and we'll see you on the next adventure.